I'm in full-on firewood processing mode, trying to get ready for our wood burning season for next winter. It's late January right now, and so in an ideal world, I get all of our firewood cut, split as necessary, and stacked under cover in my pallet woodshed, which I just finished the other day. It has a nice poly roof, so it allows a ton of solar gain, and by having all of February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and then November of next year, it should be really nicely cured. And what I wanted to do is share a note. I want to make an argument for two concepts here. Number one is the value of an old chop saw for processing small gauge firewood, and I'll talk about that in a second. And number two, the value of branch wood for firewood. Most folks overlook this stock. They leave this as slash or trash in the woods, and they go for the big bombers, which is a ton of cutting and hauling and heavy weight, tons of splitting. I just started clearing. I've got a whole series of videos where I talk about a new orchard opening in that area, and it's all smaller diameter wood, and we did have some snow recently, so I was skidding along all this material with the sled, and I pollarded all these trees with a electric battery-powered chainsaw, so no fumes, pretty lightweight. All this material easy and lightweight to move, pretty high BTU value. Most of it is black locust and white ash, black locust being the ideal. There's a little bit of cherry in here, even a little bit of sumac, although that's not ideal. I figured I'd use it. And by having the chop saw to process this material, it actually becomes really viable firewood. Any of you that have processed firewood like this with a gas-powered chainsaw know that this stuff is brutal. It spins on you, it kicks on you. In some ways, processing this as firewood with a gas chainsaw is the most dangerous thing that I could think of. With a chop saw, it's super easy. It's a comfortable working height, and you get tons of rounds that, once they have enough time to cure down, this is some really high density firewood, and I don't have to split it. It's easy to handle next winter. It's easy to load a bunch of this into the wood stove and get a raging fire. For our charcoal production in the wood stove, this stock is beautiful because I can slide this in next to our kiln, or our retort, I should say. You can check out a video where I talk about that. Now, of course, I do process bigger gauge firewood, bolts and bombers and all that kind of stuff. You can see we've got a bucking bench over here. We're processing fatter rounds of ash. But really, my preference is to have a mix and to do the least amount of splitting as possible. And in this case, since I need this firewood at a different site, I'm hiking it to here and then bucking it on the tailgate and tossing it into the back of the truck to deliver to our other home site. And the other nice thing about this is if you have a particularity, you want exactly 12 inches for every piece of firewood, it's easy enough to set this with some clamps so it doesn't move on a tailgate or a bench or what have you. And then I use black electric tape periodically. If I want to cut 1 or 2 foot lengths of different things, if you have 18 inches, you can measure it out. I know that if I cut roughly here with this much overhang, I get roughly a log that'll work for our fireplace. I'm not that particular about it. And I find this to be reasonable and safe so long as I don't have tons of twists and turns and lots of branches, and that the piece is making really good contact across the whole of this, and that I'm obviously not holding it anything stupid like that. My hand off to the side, and with that going, it really works pretty nicely. Of course, I have ear and eye protection and gloves, but I can process, I'd say all this is 15 minutes worth of processing, and it takes a waste material that is normally a byproduct from collecting firewood in the forest and turns it into some really high value material. This will keep us warm for probably a week or two, this material that's in the back here, and I can load this truck up with it, bring it home, and get it stacked. All in all, that is 1 hour of labor that's ergonomically pretty darn comfortable, standing fully upright, working at a level that's comfortable to operate. Probably about 10 to 20 cents worth of electricity on the absolute high end, yielding 2 to 3 weeks worth of heat for our winter needs. We can also cook on. and it went through pretty much all of the wood that was here, with the exception of a few big nuggets, which I can do with an electric chainsaw, also ergonomically, comfortably, on the bucking bench that I have at home. It even did these big nuggets here, so thanks, chop saw. All without fumes, too. A big burly gas-powered chainsaw running for an hour. I have to take a shower and wash my clothes. And I can just keep wearing my stinky clothes. At least they don't stink like gasoline. Thanks for watching.